Okay, so next I'm going to show you a couple things that you can roll into your clay with a rolling pin or anything flat really to also create a texture. This is just netting that you would find produce in from the grocery market, but it creates a really unique texture. So you see here, let me try to squish things over so you can see it a little better. I've laid the netting over my clay. Then I'm going to take a rolling pin and just lightly apply pressure, switch directions, and keep doing it until it seems as if the netting is completely level or flush with the clay. You don't want to press too hard, because if you press too hard on the rolling pin, your clay is going to get really thin, and you don't want your clay to get thinned out. What's nice about using a rolling pin as opposed to using your hands is you create more of an even impression. So then I'm going to carefully peel the texture off. Isn't that neat? Super cool. I've made some cups with this texture and they come out gorgeous. Next I'm going to show you guys a doily. This one's kind of stained red from all the red clay I've used with it, but this creates a really cool texture. I love this one. So again, lay it right over the clay. This one's a little bit of a thicker material, so it's going to take a little longer. Slow, even pressure until the doily lines up flat or flush with the clay. And then carefully peel it off. And you have another very unique texture. You can feel it as you run your hand over it, and that's how you know it's not smooth. Then we have, and you can do a lot of really cool projects with this, pressing in a leaf, right? So these are just the leaves that we have at Valencia High School. I think sycamore is the specific species name. But what you do is you take the rough side of the leaf, honestly the uglier side of it, not the pretty side, but the side with a lot more textures. And you lay it on top of your clay, and you carefully try to flatten it out. This one's being a little stubborn, but eventually it should all flatten out very nicely. Honestly, guys, I couldn't reach the branches. In a perfect world, you would want to take a fresh leaf right off the branches because they're a lot more flexible. I just wasn't tall enough. But so I found this one on the ground, which works fine, but as you can see, I have a little bit of difficulty getting it to stay down. So this probably won't be the best example, but you'll get the idea. So I peel it off, and then I have a really awesome leaf impression. How cool is that? You can do so many things with this. You could cut it out and add it onto your projects to decorate with. You could simply cut this out and lay it in an actual bowl, and it'll take on the shape of a bowl. So it'll be like a small knick-knack dish, I guess you could say. So lots of cool stuff you can do with leaves. Next, I'm gonna set up for our slab mats texture part of our demo, and then we'll continue. So I'll be right back. All right, so we are all set up to demonstrate how to use some slab mats. These are slab mats or texture mats. We have one in wood texture to show you guys. We have a brick texture to show you as well, and a stone or cobblestone texture. Those are the ones we have out today, but we have plenty more. These are just the three I'm gonna show you. What's so cool about these is a lot of people come into class and they're like, oh, I wanna do, a wood grain box or something to that effect. But they're like, I have no idea how to draw a wood grain. Well, we have art made easy, right? By being able to simply press in a wood grain texture. That ensures that even if you do not feel confident in your artistic abilities, you can still make some super cool stuff that comes out really, really nice. So, all right, so how it works is with the slab mats, the only downside is you can only use these on slabs of clay or flat pieces of clay. In other words, if you have a bowl, it's really hard to transfer these textures from the slab mats onto a bowl. So these only work with slabs of clay. Nonetheless, I got my slabs out ready to show you guys. I've gone through the whole process of kneading wedging, rolling them out through the slab roller or a rolling pin, and I smoothed out the canvas. So Miss Singleton, why do you have to smooth out the canvas texture if you're going to press in a new texture? Well, because the two textures will blend. If I left the canvas texture on here and then I put this wood texture on top, you're gonna have a blend of canvas and wood texture, and generally you honestly don't want that. So always make sure that you smooth out the canvas even before applying a texture. All right, so I think you guys understand the process, so I'm gonna go through this relatively quick, but I lay the wood texture right on top. I roll with a rolling pin. Again, don't roll too hard, or otherwise it'll thin out your clay. Your clay will get thin. I'm making sure to apply even pressure. That's what's nice with the rolling pin. It works better than our hands because it gives us even pressure. And then with these, you always want to lift the corner to check how your texture looks before committing to taking it all off. The reason is, if I were to have taken it all off and be like, oh wow, I did not press hard enough, it's really hard to match the pattern back up again. So only lift the corner, check to make sure that your impression is good before picking it all up. And check that out. Now I have an awesome wood texture, easy peasy. I'm gonna do the same one real quickly with a brick texture. Smooth, even rolling. Maybe even switch directions a little bit. Peel up just the corner. If it looks good, then pull up the rest. Boom, brick texture. And last but not least, we have our stone texture, a really popular one. This one comes out so cool. Lay it down. Roll, roll, roll. Pick up the corner. Does it look good? Yes, it does. Pick it all the way up and check that out. Now you got an awesome stone texture. So that covers textures. Projects always look awesome with a lot of textures, so don't be scared to go for it. Alrighty guys, that concludes our demo, Surface Technique number 3, texture. When we return for our next demo, we are going to be talking about basic form number 2, which is pinch pots. All right, take care.